Marina's sixth studio record and first independent album, Princess of Power, is out. This album marks a return to form 4 years after her Ancient Dreams of a Modern Land. I argue that this is actually her best record since Fruit, even possibly a sequel to that record's ambition and tone. Princess of Power is an odyssey through the 1970s and the 2000s pop world. It is bright, emotive, and purely Marina. In this video, I'm going to talk about the album's theme, some general thoughts, before doing a complete track-by-track breakdown and giving it a final score. Marina Untethered. Marina announced 3 years ago that she left Atlantic Records, a label that she's been with for 14 years. She would establish Queenie Records in November 2022, and things were looking up until she was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, something that would shelve her musical ambitions for a few years. So instead, she devoted her energy towards a poetry book, Eat the World. I highly recommend that because I think it informs some of the themes of this record. For Princess of Power, Marina would look towards the music of the 1970s and the 2000s, particularly ABBA, Madonna, and Kylie, something that really led her to create something that feels bright and powerful. Marina would delve into concepts of being an artist navigating a world that was obsessed with youth and trying to reclaim her inner power, something that is underscored by that first single, Butterfly, a chamber house pop dance track. It was about spiritual rebirth and metamorphosis, and to promote that song, she actually gave out live caterpillars before releasing the track in its music video. A second single, Cupid's Girl, would drop, but the album properly got real attention for its third single, Cantissimo, a campy track that brought the theatricality and camp that Marina was known for. This, coupled with a performance at Coachella, renewed interest in Marina and her career. She declared this record Princess of Power and would reveal the cover art and release date for June with a track list. Princess of Power is a 13-track record with fully formed songs. The shortest track is just 3 minutes, which is a far cry from the short TikTok tracks that everyone else is dropping. This album was mostly produced and written by Marina and CJ Baran, something that really lends this record a sense of freedom and purpose. I love the fact that she is unshackled from chart expectations and performances, so this record really just felt like the debut record of hers, The Family Jewels, but with a sense of maturity. But you can also see her resample elements that she clearly loved from other records, both melodically and lyrically. Teen Idol girls will see themselves again in Adult Girl. Metallic Stallion, one of my favorite deep cuts, feels like a nod to the spacey and flowy nature of Fruit's more ambitious tracks. The return to melody-focused music, something that I felt Marina has always excelled at over her stunty lyrics from the previous albums, is what made this album work for me. Princess of Pop sees Marina go for something that's just really Europop. It's focused on sensory pulsations, it is unafraid to go there on the lyrics. Her last two projects had some strong moments, but it lacked the playfulness that she was known for earlier in her career. Here on Princess of Power, we see that spark return and then some. Despite diving into some dark subject matter, it never wavers away from the light. Marina abandons her crusade for sharp political commentary, going for more universal dance floor jams. Cupid Girl, which I didn't initially love, actually grew on me on this record, realizing that it, along with Cantissimo and Final Boss, were really Electra Heart's vibes rechanneled into something new. This is a very cohesive and well thought out album that never feels like a chore to listen to. I actually see myself revisiting this. Roller Coaster and Digital Fantasy stand out as my personal favorites on first listen, just because they take what we know of her and then they push her towards new directions. Seeing her embrace autotune for a hot second had my jaw drop. The vocalizations and production again feel so intentional throughout the record, like Marina is not using these as a gimmick. On Final Boss particularly, we see Marina play with hyperpop, a genre that I've always kind of wanted to see her do, and a sound that I could see her exploring on her own time. I Love You just got a music video, which might be her best visual in years, and I feel like that song could become a surprise sleeper hit. Thematically, this album is seeing Marina usher in a new era for herself on her own terms. She is no longer part of the rat race of the pop game. She is transformed into something entirely new, but something she's always wanted to be, an artist for art's sake. I recently covered Electra Heart. It is a record that I have adored during my coming of age, and Princess of Pop is a record that makes me feel okay with aging. If Marina can do it this gracefully with style, poise, and magic, why can't I? And now the track by track. The title track opens the record with her framing this as a story before creating a dance pop track that serves as a recap of where she is now. The first verse says that she's not Electra Heart or any previous version of herself before admitting that she's been hurt before, but this is her world. She is the princess of power, ready to transform. The rhyme scheme on the chorus is so simple, but I think it works well, and I love that pre-chorus because it's playful. The bridge reminded me that Marina does those so well. Butterfly in the context of the album actually makes sense. As a standalone lead single, I felt like it wasn't the right song to hook people onto this record. Still, it's very her. It's reminiscent of her earlier works because she allows the melody to play out. The chorus always shocks me because it's so different from what she sets up in that pre-chorus. You expect it to be something soaring, but then it zigzags and flutters unpredictably like a butterfly. Again, you get this ethereal pre-chorus and then you get this chatty chorus where she combines her two different styles. The bridge again breaks down colors and spectrums, which I felt like was a nod to Fruit and her poetry book. Puntissimo is where the album actually took shape for me. The visuals feel like a mature revisit of Electra Heart, but the themes lean way more into female empowerment. The pulsating instrumental gives it a sense of urgency, while the smart clips like My Push-Up Bra and My Diamonds, Gift from My Ex-Husband, those ground the song and remind you this is Marina writing. She name drops Thelma and Louise and Selma Hayek as sex icon as she takes back her power from her ex. I felt like the song's lyrics were more impressionistic. It feels like mania thoughts of people saying that she should settle down and her saying no. The bridge really feels like a nod to Electra Heart and Fruit, combining the lessons of freedom and power to remain free. Roller Coaster is her masterwork. It combines hollaback girl-like drums with her ethereal, eclectic self. You get this really rough opening that feels like a roller coaster climbing up a hill. I love the fact that she is just unhinged on this. She is talking about wanting to experience sex on the sand and euphoria everywhere, and then we fall into the shimmering chorus that manifests a true love and fantasy. You can actually hear the joy in her voice. You can feel the instrumental transform mid-track, resembling the way a roller coaster will take you everywhere up and down. It's one of the best tracks on the record because of that interactivity between voice and production. Cupid's Girl is a track for the Electra Heart lovers. The instrumental and the voicing evokes the high drama of that record. The track itself is a playful take on the classical myth, seeing Marina flip the script. Cupid himself rarely is the subject of love, but Marina is like a temptress, siren beckoning him in that gorgeous chorus. The bridge sees her empathize with her lover before she takes us home. Metallic Stallion is a gorgeous medieval-inspired track. It is slower than the other tracks at first. The instrumental gallops like the stallion she sings about. The pre-chorus actually reminded me of I Am Not a Robot, while Marina's trying to make peace with the fact that her lover, the stallion, is just emotionally unavailable. The chorus is this beautiful attempt to see her rein in her lover, chasing after him and trying to break the stallion, but on the bridge you realize, or she realizes, that her devotion might not pay off. He resists her connection even though he wants it. The closing instrumental lends this like tragic Greek air to it, seeing both parties miserable. Je ne sais quoi is a playful track that sees Marina muse about someone whose aura is irresistible. Verse 2 actually makes it a mutually destructive relationship. She has that same energy and they're flirting with mutual destruction. The pre-chorus just tickles my ear so well, the way that she structures it, and then she sings that classic French-inspired chorus, I'm so into you, you're hotter than God. That's the type of line that you put on a t-shirt. It reminded me of a spy movie instrumentally, which lets her shine because it's very cinematic. Digital Fantasy is a proper electro pop. The way that she sings with those video game-like synths at the start, it's very cheeky. It reminded me of early poppy work. The song references Sims, I think, with the funny woohoos in the refrain, and the track sees her confront people loving her from a screen, seeing her as a digital fantasy. I love that she's attempting to get real love, even rubbing wound in the bridge. When she uses autotune on that final chorus, I was gagged because it adds to insult to this ex who wanted the fake her, so she's like, okay, you can have it, when all she really wanted was love. I think it's underrated. People need to talk about it more. Everybody Knows I'm Sad is a gorgeous track. It reminded me a little bit of Blue from Fruit thematically, but from a more aggressive standpoint. The verses see her talk about how she has no one to hold her and how she pretends she's better off alone and how no one sees her, but the pre-chorus sees her rise up and admit that she's hiding from the pain, and the chorus has this really cool reflective effect, and then she glides into a clearer voice on the post-chorus. The production is so good. This one's just a sad banger for girls who give everyone FOMO but also suffer from loneliness. Hello Kitty was a nice surprise because I thought it was going to be a dance pop jump scare like Avril Lavigne's iconic version. Instead, we get this heartfelt, string-led ballad. It's so earnest, almost juvenile. It captures the feeling of childishness that you get when you fall in love. I almost cracked up when she said, "Hello Kitty, make me go rah-rah." It's just so deeply millennial cringe in a way that's perfect for her. The bridge takes on this whisper tone, and it becomes clear that this is a lovesick lullaby. I Love You interpolates the song I Will Survive. It is a classic disco anthem that's recontextualized here into a very dreamy 1970s track that has Marina reject the whole Y2K trends for classic disco. The verses are so nostalgic. She name drops glitter cat suits, smoking Vogues, as she goes full ABBA on that chorus. This one has the most hit potential. I think the chorus is irresistible. I Want to Be Holding You Tonight just shines. The bridge rephrases the intro while we get this very stringy and splashy final refrain that balances referential and reinvention. Adult Girl is the answer to Teen Idol, having her reflect on what she's learned, but also recognizing that she cannot smother away her inner child in her. The pre-chorus name checks the pain from Teen Idol before the chorus sees her admit that she's just an adult girl. The pre-chorus having all those contrasts between those dark things and the sweet imagery feels like a return to Electra Heart's themes of softness and femininity covering deeper pain. She repairs those cracks of codependency that she faced in Fruit before coming to terms with who she is now, healing through art. Final Boss is a perfect closer and finisher, seeing her close out this arc, comparing her ex to a final boss in a video game, and it also reframes digital fantasy and the sound of the record into a soundtrack of sorts for a video game. The chorus is so earnest, it's chatty, it's dense, rhyming samurai with Fall Guy before that killer count upwards to beating him at his own game. Hearing her throw in a reference to Mario and Mortal Kombat with that finish him reminds us that Marina's just as dorky as us. The Princess of Power has finally rescued herself. Overall, this is my favorite Marina record post her changing her name away from the Diamonds. It's solid, cohesive, it tells a thorough story that references her strong body of work. It feels like closure and a new beginning, so I'm glad to give this a 9.1 out of 10. It just really resonated with me. I did not expect this to get me. Marina's proof that some girls just gotta go indie to save themselves. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning into this quick review of Marina's latest record. I had so much fun making that Electra Heart video. I think it's one of my best performing videos recently. I just loved going through that and combing through the history of that time. And seeing her reflexively talk about it is just really great. So let me know what you thought of Pop, Princess of Power in the comments, how you feel about this album and Marina's creative direction. A shout out to my members. Thank you so much for joining my channel and taking that extra step. Shout out to my subscribers. Thank you so much. I love every single one of you. I am doing this for you guys. I love reviewing music. I am still sick, but I am fighting against it. I think this week is going to be the most productive week. I expect to do Miley sometime by the end of this week, so everybody looking for my Something Beautiful kind of analysis. I want to watch the movie before I make any judgments. Anyway, I'll see you next video. Hopefully.